Hi, hello guys. Today we are going to continue writing equations, but today we're going to talk about writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. You may recall from a few weeks back, we did talk about how to determine if lines were parallel and perpendicular. And now we're going to use that with what we know about how to write an equation. So first, parallel lines we'll review are lines that never intersect, and they never intersect because they have the same slopes. So these equations are going to have the same slope but different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines, as you saw in the video, are lines that intersect at 92-degree angles, and their slopes are actually opposite reciprocals. So you'll recall the guy telling you to flip and switch in the video. All right, so that's what you have to do to get your perpendicular slopes. So we're going to use that information to write new equations that go through a given point. So quick review. Our three forms, we can write it in slope-intercept form. Remember that the slope is already in the equation. Standard form, where we have to do opposite A over B to find the slope, or point slope form, where M is already in the equation. So our steps are going to be to find the slope. So depending on what form it is, the slope may already be there, or we may have to find it. We're going to write down that slope, and then we're going to substitute that slope and the point into our point slope form, and then we're going to write in whatever form they ask us for. So here we want to write in a line that is parallel to this equation that passes through this point. First, we need to figure out the slope. That's going to be easy because this line is already in slope-intercept form, so the slope is 3. And because it's parallel, we're going to use that same slope, and we want it to go to this point. So now we just plug that into our point slope form, and then you should recall that we simplify this by distributing that 3, and then we subtract 2 on both sides. And we end up with our answer, y is equal to 3x plus 13. If they don't specify what form to write it in, it is always best to put your final answer in slope-intercept form. Okay, let's take a look at another example. We want to write a line that is parallel to this equation and passes through this point. If it's parallel, that means we're going to have to use the same slope, but we don't know the slope of this line because it's in standard form. So we're going to do our opposite A over B, which should be negative 2 over 1. So this has a slope of negative 2. So then that means that I'm going to use negative 2 because I want it to be parallel. And then I'm going to use this as my point. And then the rest should just be plugging it into the formula. Distribute the negative 2, add 7. And then we should end up with our final answer. Negative 2x minus 1 is parallel and passes through that point. Now we want to write one that is perpendicular. Take a second to see if you can pause the video and write the equation, then unpause the video to see if you match me. All right, so if you did that, you should have first figured out that the slope is going to be 1 over 3 because we have to flip and switch. All right, so we started off with negative 3, and if we flip and switch, we get 1 over 3. We wanted to go to this point. And if you did your steps correctly, you should end up with 1/3 x plus 3. Okay, last one. Again, pause the video, try it out for yourself. All right, hopefully you paused the video. We first needed to find the slope. So we use our opposite A over B, we get negative 2 over 3. And then we're going to flip and switch to positive 3 over 2. Plug and chug. And hopefully you got 3 over 2x minus 10.